The next thing to mention is that you can be a leader who leads from the feminine value side. And this could be for any gender. It doesn't really matter if you're a woman or not. What it means to me is that you lead with these feminine values and would be considered attributes or traits that are most often associated with the feminine versus the masculine space in that sense. So think of it like these qualities. What comes to mind for me are things like literally being, right? Your presence, creating, being creative, holding space for others. That's that presence. Maybe it's big picture thinking, like you don't have all the linear thinking down. That would be more masculine, but it's really just this bigger vision that you're holding. It might be the power of silence. It might be your own care for someone else or empathy, love, collaboration, communication. To me, all of these are really strong feminine values that I think are severely underrepresented in the workplace and the workforce. And so we need these attributes more in our ecosystem, right? And my sense is if you are already a woman, these are things that can be brought into the business world because you're gifted in them already, right? And not, again, not everyone can have these. However, I think that as a female leader, you are especially well positioned to bring these more into the space. And even though maybe the workplace doesn't emphasize these as much as things like the more masculine values, things like the things like absolute report numbers, for example, finite deliverables, project linear thinking, constructive and building the plan out in the project, right? Like these are the things that I think of as more very tangible, but productive and linear, more of what we're used to in the business world. But guess what? We need both. We really, really do. And we are hearing this more and more because there's things like that burnout that's happening at a faster, more rapid pace. And people are talking about wanting better culture at work. Like these are all the things that the feminine values can really step up and help us lead in. So they need you, we need you, and the time is now to help bring those into the world. Okay. My third reason why it's so awesome to be a high EQ leader is that it really requires to always be learning, ABL, always be learning, right? Like always be closing, or what was that from the movie? We are all like, Glenn Ross, right? Is that what it is? Glenn Ross. Am I saying that right? Anyway, always be learning. This means following your curiosity and doing something that you would enjoy, right? Maybe you're taking a class. It may have nothing to do with the work world. It might be more of a hobby or passion project. To me, that's a pause, right? Reading a book, perfect. Watching a TED Talk, stimulating your brain in new ways so that you feel inspired, right? Getting back to that inspiring note, and that it can be infectious. It's like something that you get excited about and share with someone else. So whatever it is for you, find out what that might be. And it's really about what gets you excited. So what would you like to learn? Maybe that's the way to start with that question, and then just do that instead. That's all it takes. And on a similar vein, I would say another reason that I love being a high EQ leader is to be enthusiastic about ideas is really, really awesome. So generate that enthusiasm, give yourself permission to get excited. And to me, this means really just allowing your own vitality, your own aliveness to course through your veins and do what you came here to do, right? So what is that for you that you feel excited about and enthusiastic about? Maybe you're present to it, or maybe you bring others along with you. You teach them what it is, because your emotion is contagious and infectious. So that's the emotional contagion, right? If you find it exciting, people can read and pick up on that all the time, right? In itself, that's inspiring. And you're motivating others. You're not only motivating yourself, but others see that in you. That's your inner light that's shining through. And then they want to do something that's that exciting for themselves. Maybe it's a little different, but they would be like, wow, maybe I'm going to take up this thing that I thought about a while ago and really haven't done much with it. I think a lot of times as we get older and we mature and we just kind of get on with ourselves and our lives, we forget that this is part of the fun of learning. And to be enthusiastic means we're playful. We actually relax more. It kind of tells our whole body's nervous system that we're good. Like we don't need to be scanning for threats as much. And then there's just more joy there, right? And that's just allowing yourself to do that. A lot of times we're conditioned out of that. Sometimes we're taught to not make a big deal out of it or just keep going, you're fine. But the reality is like that I was going to say numbs us out. It dumbs us down too, though. That's what came out. So remember, your enthusiasm counts and it's part of your vitality, and it helps to create that wave of infectiousness that can be so, so exciting. And that's what high EQ leaders do, is they bring others along with them. Right. And so that's the idea here. Okay. And then the last one I want to share in my set for today is to lead by example. Okay. What I mean by that is you are an authentic leader. High EQ leaders are true to who they are. They don't make stuff up that feels out of alignment or say things because they think they should say it. They're literally leading by their own example because it feels true and authentic and aligned with them, right? So that means if you don't want to work on a Sunday, you don't work on a Sunday, and you let other people know that that's not okay for you, right? If you want to take a day off, then you take the day off, right? You know you need it. So that means you don't check your email that day, or you tell people you'll be offline. You help set expectations. That's part of where this sometimes falls apart for people if you're not a high EQ leader, because there's no expectations or communications that's really clear. But the key here is doing exactly that. Be clear, set expectations, and then go for what you want. And I think that can really lead you to a place and space that feels supportive and incredibly nurturing and nourishing for yourself as a high EQ leader. And next thing you know, my guess is you're going to feel way better, be happier, and be more successful and productive as a result.